Previously on
Eric?
Ballz.
Hi, how are you, man?
How you doing? It's Darren and John in the Ballz team here. How you doing
Eric?
today?
Well, and you, well, and you.
All right, then. Have you got your phone installed?
Yes, yes. Wow, we're busy. I was actually talking to the technicians now.
Listen, when you get those guys and they do arrive and they're busy doing it, it's not a good time to interrupt that. Otherwise, you could wait another month.
No, I know that. I know.
All right. It's just your normal Telkom phone, is it?
Yeah, and I was installing ADSL line as well.
All right. So he's getting all the technology hooked up and set up to go. How's it going?
All right, and you, man?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Can't complain. Nice to chat to you again. And obviously, things looking hotting up as far as local football goes. There with Pirates, how are things going there?
No, things are going quite well. You know, we obviously had a good result on the weekend against Tuks. That was important to bounce back after the 1-0 loss to Bloem Celtic, and it's taken us back to second, which is a good thing. And you know, we've got a 2-week break now, obviously with the international games taking place over this weekend, and then we go into the Telkom first round. So, you know, nice to have had that victory and finding ourselves in a good position on the table.
It is, but isn't it amazing about our football how, I mean, the big guns, when you talk about Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns and stuff, and we're chatting about this to people like Neil Collins and some of the other players like Lucas, how sometimes league championships, particularly the PSL itself, is determined not necessarily about by your results against some of the other bigger sides, but how some of the sides that stumble against some of the so-called lower sides and minnows, and it happens every year where these guys just tend to take points off some of the big guns. It happens year after year.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And I think, you know, the big difference probably from about 15 years ago to now is obviously first and foremost is the fact that all the clubs are professional now. I think there's not a massive difference between the top PSL clubs and then your lower clubs or your minnow clubs, as you referred. And I think the league itself is a lot more competitive than what it used to be, and hence the fact that you see the results that you do week in, week out. You know, it's very difficult for teams to get a strong run, maybe 4 or 5 victories in a row. You know, the teams are competing at a very, very high level.
Yeah,
and it's very, very difficult. And because you're at a club like Orlando Pirates, every game that you play is a cup final, because the players are, you know, in those smaller clubs are extremely motivated to do well against Orlando Pirates, because they all have the objective of one day playing for Pirates.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's one of the target sides. We were chatting to Neil yesterday, and we got into quite a discussion about, you know, being a coach, particularly with the bigger sides as well in the PSL, and we're obviously talking about John Naskins and the pressure that he's under, not only from a you know, from the people within their staff as well, but you know, results wise, and also from the fans as well. And I mean, Pirates is also one of those sides where, I mean, the fans can literally dictate whether you stay or go, and you're literally on a knife edge. If you lose one game, you know that your next one you might be under that pressure again. I mean, does that sit in the back of your mind all the time?
No, it obviously does. You know, when you're at a big club like Orlando Pirates, the fans are extremely passionate and live their lives according to the results of the football club. So when the club is doing extremely well, they feel wealthy, and when the club is doing extremely poorly, they really live their true situation.
Yeah.
And that's the added pressure that you have at a club like Orlando Pirates. You know, but for us, what is always important, that we just keep being professional about our jobs and keep the focus in terms of trying to get the positive results out of the players. It's obviously very difficult, you know, for us, due to the fact that the Pirates have won the league over the past 2 seasons, and you know, for us the main job really is to build their confidence, to try and make them do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that we've been trying to put across to the players. You know, what makes true champions is the belief that they can do it again and again and again. That's why Alex Ferguson has been in the game as long as he has, because he still has the hunger and the desire to want to win the Champions League again.
Yeah.
That feeling of winning cups and leagues is undescribable, and you know, it almost becomes something, you know, you become an addict ultimately, or you should become an addict of wanting to win the league and the title on a yearly basis.
Yeah, but it's kind of an irony that if Alex Ferguson had been coaching a side here and had the same start with one of our big sides in South Africa, the way he'd started with Manchester United, he probably wouldn't have been at that side anymore. You know, he was literally, because I think they give them a little more time over there, not all clubs, but I mean, you know, depending how much pressure they're under. But a side like Man United, you remember that in the mid-'80s, he was literally down to his last game, and if they'd have lost that, I think it was the FA Cup final, if they'd have lost that, he was gone. And they won it, and that's when things turned around for him. But, you know, he probably wouldn't have had as much time here in South Africa had he been with a big club here.
Yeah, no, probably not. And I think, in all fairness, if I look at the situation at Sundowns, I think that in the past they have actually, you know, got rid of coaches a lot quicker than what they've done, you know, recently with Johan Neeskens. I think I know him very well, and I know Jan Dirks very well, and they're extremely good coaches, and I'm pretty sure that they will turn the corner. And hopefully Patrice will be patient enough to give them that opportunity.
And the fans have got to be patient enough as well. I mean, that's the key thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difficult part. You know, obviously, Sundowns have been starved for trophies over the past 5 seasons, and the fans are finding it very, very difficult, obviously. But, you know, they need to understand that, you know, every year Sundowns is bringing in new players, and those players have to adapt to the club, and the coaches have to adapt to those new players. And they need to be given an opportunity to really prove themselves.
I just want to ask you, do you not think it actually does help ease a little bit of the pressure when you do have someone that has got a track record as a player in not only in our league, but also having had you know, Bafana experience? I mean, you're well known, and you're loved and respected amongst the fans as well as a former Bafana player, and having played PSL football for so long. Forget about having played overseas in Portugal and England as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that you played in the league, and we were chatting yesterday about the fact that, you know, that Stu Baxter has, you know, when you have a guy like Doc around there who garners so much adoration from the fans. Yeah. It just takes a little bit of that pressure off, because you know, they'll think twice about just suddenly jumping for somebody's head when a guy like Doc's around there and he's sort of giving his support to the coaching staff. Do you not feel that maybe we should have more of our guys that have been involved in football and involved with Bafana from the late 90s, that successful period, involved in our soccer more? We were talking about Lucas, and you know, why he's not involved in some way or another in one of the sides.
No, I tend to agree with you. Unfortunately, there's not many coaches in South Africa that are actually given the opportunity to coach at PSL. The reality is, yes, we see a lot of foreign coaches coming in, and I think a lot of times where they make their mistake is that they're trying to replicate what they do in Europe. Here in South Africa, but our reality here is completely different to the reality in Europe. Yeah, you know, we have a complete different culture and a complete different mentality to a lot of the players in Europe, and those coaches obviously find their task more difficult when they try and implement things that they were implementing in Europe. That's something that I've noticed during my period here in South Africa. I was in Europe for 16 years, and when I came back to South Africa, I almost had that European mentality, but I had to learn very, very quickly that I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I had to approach things slightly differently, and I needed to be slightly more patient with regards to the players.
Yeah. Am I right in saying you played more games for Bafana than you played PSL games here for your club, for Wits?
Yeah, I spent basically only just over a season at Wits before I went over to Europe. So yeah, I was 48 caps for Bafana. I think it was over the 8 years that I played for them. Yeah, I think probably is.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm just doing some addition here, because you came back and had another couple of years for Wits as well. 48 for Bafana, 47 for Wits.
Yeah, so
there we go.
Just one short.
I wonder how many other players
retired at the right time.
Eric, and 1 goal for Bafana, 3 goals for Wits. There we go. Just to give you the stats. Yes, John.
Eric, you know, just chatting about the international, how different things are. Looking ahead to the big game on Friday, Bafana against Poland. It's going to be in Warsaw. This will obviously present a real different challenge to Gordon Egerson.
Yeah, no, a massive challenge. I think, you know. But it's these type of challenges that we need week in, week out. You know, we don't get enough of it, and our players are not exposed enough to it. We do have a number of players that are actually in Europe, but they're not getting game time week after week, and that's probably one of the disappointments that we have, is the fact that we're not having enough players playing in the European leagues at the highest level and bringing back that experience to our national team. So it is important that our national team gets games like these where the players are going to get the exposure.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be a very tough game. We saw Poland during the European Championships, and they pulled off some very good results there. A lot of them are playing, obviously, in the German Bundesliga, so it's going to be an extremely tough game for us to play.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, it's nice to chat to you again, man. All the best.
Yes.
Thanks for taking some time out while you have your phone installed. Hopefully, next time we chat to you, we can phone you on a
Skype.
on Skype. We can Skype you. There we go. Then we can have a look at you as well. Awesome stuff. Thanks for taking some time out for us today.
Thanks, Eric.
Cheers, Eric.
No,
Bye-bye.
thanks, man. Take care. Cheers.
Bye.
There we go. Eric Tinkler joining us, talking about a footy.
I wonder how different he looks from.
I don't think he
years
looks
ago.
much different. The last time I saw him, he didn't really look much older or different to when he played.
I don't think I've seen him in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
He almost like keeps quite a low profile, hey, doesn't he? You sort of, he's not
But
like,
even as a player, he was never flash. You know, there was
No, he
never
was just-
like any. He just got on with it, got stuck in. There
like
he
a
was.
Bradley Cornell type sort of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
also.
there was always something about Mark Fish.
Well, Bradley was also
never,
similar.
eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bradley was similar because I think
Yeah.
he spent a lot of his time playing. He played Stuttgart
Stuttgart,
for many
yes.
years overseas there, and basically just came back to play for Bafana. So we've got a lot of players like that. I don't think Eric's the only one that played more Bafana games than he played club games in his own country. A lot of players are like that.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on Ballz.co.za. Ballz.co.za.